You will recall that last week, Governor Soludu of Anambra State had called on the federal government to either release Nnmadi Kanu unconditionally or release the IPOB leader to him as his Shorty. The Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has reacted to the Anambra State Governor Soludu request to stand as Shorty for Nnmadi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Mr. Kanu has been leading a separatist campaign for an independent state of Biafra. According to Mr. Kanu, the Biafra Republic would comprise people of Igbo-speaking origin from Nigeria's southeast and some parts of South-South states. The IPOB leader was first arrested by Nigerian government in 2015 in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Mr. Kanu's trial on terrorism and treasonable charges has been dismissed by the Court of Appeal in Abuja. You will recall that on the 13th of October, the appellate court held that Mr. Kanu's extraordinary rendition to Nigeria from Kenya last June was a flagrant violation of Nigeria's extradition treaty and also a breach of its fundamental human rights. The government's action, the court said, invalidated the trial. So the court ordered its release from the custody of the Nigerian Secret Police, SSS. But Mr. Kanu remained in detention while the federal government pursues its appeal at the Supreme Court in an effort to have the charges against him restored. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Naija News series. Kindly subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, and leave your comments. As you all know, there have been calls from different quarters for the IPOB leader's release. Governor Soludu joined the list of those calling for Mr. Kanu's release during the presidential campaign flag-off of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, AFGA, in Awka, Anambra State on the 15th of January 2023. Mr. Soludu said if Mr. Kanu cannot be released unconditionally by the Nigerian government, the IPOB leader should be released to him. But the Attorney General, Abubakar Malami, replied Governor Soludu through an interview he granted Premium Times. In the interview with Premium Times on Wednesday, the Attorney General said he was not in receipt of Mr. Soludu's request. There is no such request formally before the federal government or the judicial process. As at today, being 18th January 2023, I'm not in receipt of any application arising from the public statement made by the Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludu, either through the judicial process or extended to me as the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami said. Mr. Malami, a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, explained that when a matter is pending before the court, the right channel through which any request or perhaps concession can be presented for consideration is through the judicial process. He added that the renewed call for Mr. Kanu's release has not been invoked formally for the consideration of the Attorney General. We all know the backstory of this case that has been dragging on. Mr. Kanu was facing terrorism charges before Binta Yanko of the Federal High Court in Abuja and was granted bail in 2017. But the Nigerian Army on the 14th of September 2017 evaded the IPOB leader's Afara Ukwa home near Umuahia, Abia State, during which 18 civilians were killed. Mr. Mike Ozekome, Mr. Kanu's lawyer, said during a court session, due to the invasion, Mr. Kanu fled the country, prompting Mrs. Yanko, the trial judge, to issue a warrant of arrest for the IPOB leader. One of Mr. Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, described the IPOB leader's escape during the evasion as the rule of self-preservation, but Mrs. Yanko revoked Mr. Kanu's bail for abandoning his trial and ordered his trial to be separated from the rest of the co-defendants. While the trial of the rest of the defendants has made some progress, Mr. Kanu's has been stalled since 2017. After nearly 4 years abroad, on 29 June 2021, Mr. Malami, in the company with the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, and SSS officials, announced Mr. Kanu's arrest and repatriation from Kenya to Nigeria. He was subsequently rearraigned before Mrs. Yanko on a 15-count terrorism and treasonable felony charges, but the judge in April of 2021 struck out 8 of the charges after the IPOB leader challenged their validity. The separatist leader went onto the Court of Appeal seeking to squash the remaining 7 counts. Then in a unanimous judgment last October, the Court of Appeal panel held that the Nigerian government breached local and international laws in the forcible retention of Mr. Kanu to Nigeria. It said that the IPOB leader's illegal repatriation to Nigeria renders the terrorism charges against him incompetent and unlawful. Mr. Kanu, who was brought back to Nigeria last year, is being held by the SSS in its facility in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Nigeria's Supreme Court has yet to fix a date for the hearing of the federal government's appeal challenging the Court of Appeal decision ordering the IPOB leader's release. So the case against Kanu is just the federal government is just doing delay tactics on the case against Kanu. We hope that soon